to Our Energy Matters with Anthony Manna and Dena Marie.
Yes, hello everyone. Hello everyone. Hello, Dena Marie. And to our Russian listeners and viewers, Harushvinya. Good day to you all, and welcome to Our Energy Matters, our weekly tribute to the healing powers. And I say here, what we're focusing on is with chakra revelations and textured in-depth rumination summoned by the hidden brilliance of colored crystals. Dena Marie, Lady Grace, reads her seeker's presence, condition, and needs to bless them with healing powers.
Amen.
Amen. When I stumbled into your energy, which is Our Energy Matters, the book Our Energy Matters, the art of crystal reading and learning how to manifest your heartfelt intentions. This is Dena Marie's soul, body, mind-changing manual of matters, manners, prescriptions, and guidance, deeply spiritual, physical, mental. It was soon after she interviewed me about Loukas and the Game of Chance, my children's book, on her upbeat weekly radio program, Lift Your Spirits, 1150 AM KKNW. I love that program. I mean, I should say, I love that show. She startled me with her in-depth analysis of Loukas's spiritual condition and his predicament finding his way to recovery. I needed to find out more about this gracious, sensitive lady's extraordinary wisdom. So today, I will share her wisdom with you by asking her to reveal some of the spirit light, soul light, mind light that guide her prescriptions, remedies, and celestial arts to bring her toward the service of her seekers, her clients, in search of her, that is Dena Marie's, healing guidance. So why don't we begin? We may do this in 2 episodes. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But I feel very excited about the fact that, in a way, I guess you could call it an interview. I would prefer it to be a conversation. But I'm wondering about the beginning of your journey as a spiritual teacher and healer. When did this all emerge? When did this start happening? When did this awareness develop?
I think it does go back to, I was a different child, for sure. I spent a lot of time in my bedroom by myself, conversing with angels. I know that sounds crazy, but I always felt like something bigger than myself that was good. A good feeling was watching over me. I always felt like I was never alone. And then in high school, somebody gave me a box of books. And those books were from a new age bookstore. Back then, that was like 1980, 82 or something. And I started reading these books and I'm like, I understand these books. I've never read them before, but they made a lot of sense to me. Some were about past lives, things that I always thought could be reality for me and were not talked about with anyone else. Other people had the same idea. So it was really interesting. I started reading these books. And then as the years went by, I became a mother and I started meditating. So I started meditating and it was 10 years at nap time. My kids would go down. I would spend a half hour meditating, reading my books that I would get from bookstores. I started collecting crystals and putting them in my house. And it was just back then that wasn't really cool. So I only did it with the kids. And then after a while, the kids and I were doing colors and crystals and dream work. And I babysat older kids. So they would take the morning and we would talk about our dreams we had the day before or night before, and we would do dream interpretation. I got into astrology. So that's kind of how it happened, was bookstores and me at home meditating for 10 years.
I can understand, and then that led you to this whole concept. I mean, it's right in the title of your book, which is Our Energy Matters. the art of crystal reading. So, and the energy takes on the meaning. I feel like it's like a kind of life force or an empowerment that can pave the way to a higher level of who I am and who I might become. So how you say how the universe is always reminding us of who we are and leading us back home to our source. How does energy fit into this whole spectrum?
Well, I think that's what made me different as a child, is that I sensed energy. I kind of, gravitated towards certain people, places, or activities and was repulsed by other things. But as a child, you were forced to do the things that didn't feel good, maybe be around relatives that you knew something wasn't right, or go to a church where you didn't feel full. You felt sad and depressed when you left, or there was just a lot of things that we were forced to do as children. But as I got older and I actually hanging out with kids, that's how you know. Because when you're around children, it's so easy. It's energy, they're fun, they're playful. As long as you're talking to them as people, it's a very comfortable place to be. And then eventually I had to go to work in an environment where I didn't really want to be, but I needed insurance, honestly. And the energy, I almost died of rheumatic fever. It was forcing myself to be in an energetic place that wasn't healthy for me. And it did make me sick. But as I learned energy work, like is Reiki, which is hands-on healing. And if you can get strangers in a room and you are doing this hands-on energy healing and you all leave full, yet you never talked, you never said a word, you just practice these hand positions and you get into someone's aura and you send them unconditional love.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking. I train my students to just be in the present moment and send love. Like my hands are just turning on right now. I can feel it. And when you feel that, there's no going back. So I have people, how does it feel when you go to someone's house? How does it feel when you go to work? And if it doesn't feel good, you're going to make yourself sick over time. So teaching people our energy matters. That's what it is. And then your life becomes fuller and bigger when you have more energy.
Wow. Yeah. I'm just trying to take that all in. I mean, it's we could go through an entire lifetime without recognizing what energy we need to survive. So,
exactly.
So when seekers, I mean, you call them clients, I call them seekers, when they come to you, how do you show them the way to their energy?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm playful. I say things like, oh, it's going to be easy. Come on in. It's going to be fun. That's the hypnotherapist inside of me. Is like, instead of saying, oh, this is going to take months, blah, 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 blah. But you just invite them in as if they were a child, right? They were your kids coming in for Kool-Aid, not Kool-Aid. I didn't do Kool-Aid. I did juice. You invite somebody in and then you send them that same energy, that unconditional love. They sit before you. And like, I do the chakra reading and I'll have people pull stones. And I know for a fact they are really depressed or something is weighing on them. And we do it in a playful way. I'll ask a few questions. They'll talk. I'll ask another question. They'll talk. And pretty soon they're just kind of like giving you who they truly are and not what that facade is that we all like to wear. And it becomes very like I'm a mother. I really can think my healing work is like that mother you can sit down and talk to, and you get the information you need, or you just give her the information and you walk out and you feel loved. You know what? You just made me pinpoint what it is. It's just loving everyone. I have to say, yesterday, this man walked in and he was a pirate. And it's where I work. And he has only one leg. And by the time we were done, I mean, he had hundreds and hundreds of tattoos. We were best friends. The guys were like, kind of, whoa, what's going on here? But it's like everyone that comes through the door, and it says this, to think of them as a person, not as what they look like or what you perceive them to be from your past. And when people walk through my door, they just felt loved. And I became probably a mother to, not in a bad way, but in a good way, a healer, So I think that's the magic of it, is just looking at everyone as children of our God or goddess. And It's energy, right?
Well, I think the nice thing for me, I mean, let's say the illuminating thing for me is when I started reading your stories about the people you heal. You know, you would, and there's a lot of that in your book, Our Energy Matters. I mean, you know, over and over again, whether it was a child, you know, or a person, you know, who's confused, an adult who's confused, you know, you're all over the place with this, and it's very encouraging and very inspiring to feel what that healing power is, because sometimes when we're talking about this kind of stuff, it can seem so esoteric, if that's the word, or outlandish, or mystical, you know. And in your book, it's not mystical. It can be a kind of celestial, as I say, a celestial feeling that you're rising above the bad energy, let's say, looking for the good, you know. And sometimes, so, but I mean, the stories bring it concrete down to choosing those crystals and taking a look at what you need to find out about yourself.
Well, and I think that's the magic. Is before, when I was meditating and staying at home with my kids, my intuition was big. I mean, I was psychic. People call me psychic. And I was with people and I would say things, and I was reading someone's mind. And there's a lot of examples, but it would just be standing next to someone and saying something out loud and them just like, what? How did what? That's scary, right? That's scary. But when I started having people pick rocks, they were giving me permission to go into their aura or their energy and kind of guide them and help them. So I now at this point in my life, I don't ever read people. I don't want to. If they come to me and they sit before me and they want me to help them with something, and they pull their rocks and I ask the questions, and then it comes out. But it could be for entertainment purposes otherwise, right? Just, you know, for yourself, or, you know, shock therapy for people, which is not healthy. But doing the rock readings was like someone was giving me permission to help them, guide them, and take them to a place where they can open up their energy and be more alive. So I do miss doing them, because before I did them all the time, and now it's one of those things where, you know, this break has kind of like made me feel like I'm not living my purpose and passion. Mm-hmm. So again, these talks and these visits with you have literally kept me, that part of myself, alive.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. And so I mean, I think, yeah, I know. I mean, it's very sustaining, you know, the fact that we talk to each other like this each week. Why don't you give us an example of a color, a chosen rock? I mean, I told you at one point that I really like tiger eye as a stone. And then what was your response to that? What would you say to me if I chose?
Well, you're a Leo. Leo is fire. If you look up Leo, you think about a lion. They have this thing about them, you know. They're strong, they're powerful. They don't even have to use their power. People just know that they're on fire, you know. They're passionate. So if you pick a tiger's eye and you're a Leo, that says a lot, because it's the color gold, right? It's the power chakra. It's when you get up on stage and you present. You're a professor, and that's how you kind of rolled, teaching people with more of a passionate, you know, weren't sitting there just regurgitating like whatever you read. You were living it. And then when I see your numerology, and I just know, well, that's why we're drawn together. I have no fire inside of my chart, so I'm attracted to people like Leos. But anyways, I just thought it was perfect, because we were talking long before we did any of this, you know, chakra stuff. But a tiger's eye is a power stone, and it's you dancing, it's you writing, it's you performing. It's a beautiful stone.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. And then so let's say you've got a client in front of you who chooses a stone that you think is revealing something hidden, or let's say a problem or a condition that needs to be addressed.
So in my sets of 21, they're all crystal clear, beautiful stones. In my crystals, I have hundreds of them and they're tainted. Some are cracked, some are dyed, some are broken. I have a worry stone that was given to me by a woman who actually was murdered. I'll say that. She gave it to me when I was in the depth of my darkness, and eventually she passed away. You know, it was a horrible situation, but I've had people pick that stone who literally were at the threshold of death. And a few of them have actually, you know, passed over. It's just crazy how this stone, but I have to have the conversation. How bad is it? You know, how bad is it? And then some people look like they have the perfect life. And then there's this stone and it's cracked and it's shattered. And I'll say, so how's your relationship with your mother? And it's so crazy because it's a pink dyed shattered stone. And they will just start crying, you know, and how do you know that? But the rock is in the heart chakra. He's missing his throat chakra. And maybe he never told it. Maybe he doesn't even know his mom. Maybe he was adopted, you know. Gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've come up with that. Just the fact that they don't know their own parent. And as beautiful as their life is right now, it still eats them up inside, you know?
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, you know, I just, every time I feel like there's a new illumination going on for me here, you know, and it's the same thing with reading your book, you know, it's like, there's a lot we don't know about ourselves, you know, and that and sometimes therapy is not enough. I mean, you know, like with that typical therapeutic relationship, sometimes it's not enough. It's got to go a little bit deeper. And it seems to me that, and you know, we're going to have to end real soon because we're already coming to the end of the time, but I think that I want to continue doing this with you just for maybe another session or so, where I'm in a sense interviewing you or questioning you or prompting you, because it's you've used the word chakra a lot. When I came into your realm, heavenly realm, I had no idea what a chakra is, let me put it that way. You know, so maybe that's where we can begin the next time by, you know, having you talk about that, because that I have to go back to it a lot. I love your definition, and I'll have that on hand, because that's a real opening at the beginning of your book when you talk about what chakra means as a Sanskrit word. But okay, so let's you know, move on to next week. I mean, you know, and I'll come by to you with more of these prompts and questions, and we can keep exploring the depth of your understanding of how we can move closer to ourselves and to each other, because it's also about relationships, isn't it?
First relationship with whatever you is bigger than you, your relationship with yourself, and then your relationship with others. You know, and I just, my voice is saying the universe is always talking to you if you only take time to listen. Yeah. And chakra readings are just one way. Okay, well, that's a good way to keep that in mind. So I say to everyone out there, as we leave you, if you want to move closer to Dena Marie's wisdom, then listen to her weekly radio show, Lift Your Spirits, on 1150 AM KKNW. And if you missed that by my talking about it, go to her website, dena-marie.com. It's interesting because I want to say you've got that labyrinth, but it's not a labyrinth. What is it, the path that you set up with people walking in? A labyrinth. Okay, it is a labyrinth. Okay, good. And you've got that there, and there's some beautiful scenes of you in the environment that you live in, which is close to the sea. And it's just a very, you know, it's like your show, Lift Your Spirits. When when you've got photographs of people who worked with you, who were your clients, people that you did retreats with. It's a very enlivening website. My website for I did an interview with Dena Marie. I want to say not more formal, just it was a different type of interview. You can go to my website's media section, and my website is anthonymannabooks.com, MANNA. And you'll go there, you'll look at the
the media section for the interviews that I've done with authors and with people like spiritual people like Dena Marie for lifting our spirits. So
Yeah.
yay, yay, yay. Next
I
time.
look forward to next week and our conversation.
Of course. Okay. And have a good week, and everybody, Happy New Year. And we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.